You should adjust your savings rate depending on how much you make. If you're someone who's always thinking about money, then chances are you've set up some sort of savings rate that works for you to stash away into your emergency fund or for future purchases. But what if this savings rate doesn't work so well with your income? Well, there's actually a better way to save money by changing your savings rate based on how much you make. And if you stick around until the end, I'll share with you a simple method to automate this process so you can spend less time worrying about it. So, let's say you're currently saving 20% of your income. If you earn $4,000 a month, then that means you're putting away $800 every single month. That's great. But what if one day you have a huge month and you make $6,000 instead? Are you still going to save the same amount? Would you save 20% of $6,000? That would mean you're saving more than you did the previous month. What if the next month you only made $3,000? Would you only save $3,000 multiplied by 20%? This is where things get tricky. The traditional advice is to just stick to your savings rate regardless of how much you make. So, if your savings rate is 20%, then save 20% and don't think twice. However, in my opinion, there's a better approach, which is adjusting your savings rate based on your income. The key here is to use your income fluctuation to top up your savings when you're remaking more while cutting back on your savings when you're remaking less. This approach allows you to save more money in the long run without having to worry too much about hitting a specific savings number each month. Let me give you an example of how this could look like. Let us say you have a target savings range that you want to be between 15 and 25% of your income. So, when you make $4,000 a month, you would save 20% of that amount, which falls right in the middle of your range. Now let's say the following month you only made $3,000. You could choose to keep your savings rate at 20% and save $600, but you can also reduce your savings rate to, let's say, 10% and save $300. This way, since you're coming off a high savings month, you have the buffer of the extra $300 saved from the previous month to fall back on. So, even though you're making less this month, you're still able to save the same amount as you did last month. Now there are multiple ways you can adjust your savings rate based on your income. I'll share with you the 4 methods I use, which are percentage of income, fixed percentage range, fixed dollar amount range, and hybrid. With percentage of income, you simply set a minimum and maximum percentage of income you want to save each month. For instance, 15 to 25% like we talked about earlier. When you have a high-income month, you'll save more. When you have a low-income month, you'll save less. Next is fixed percentage range, where you pick a fixed percentage and save that amount no matter what. Say you pick 20. You'll save 20% of your income every single month, but you'll also add any extra income to your savings. If you make more, you'll save more. If you make less, you'll save less. Third is fixed dollar amount range. Here you pick a minimum and maximum dollar amount you want to save each month. So, if you picked $500 to $1,000, you'll save $500 in your low-income months and $1,000 in your high-income months. Any extra money above the max amount will go towards your savings. Finally, we have the hybrid approach, which combines the best of all 3 methods. For example, you may decide to save a minimum of $500 each month and a maximum of $30 of your income. This ensures that you always have a safety net of at least $500 saved up each month, but also allows you to save more if you're making more. If you need help picking a savings rate, here are some questions to consider. First, what are your financial goals? Are you saving for a down payment, for retirement, or for something else entirely? Second, what is your income stability? Is your income consistent month to month, or does it fluctuate a lot? Third, what are your expenses? Do you have any upcoming large expenses that you need to save for? Fourth, what is your risk tolerance? Are you comfortable with having a buffer of $500 in your emergency fund, or do you prefer to have a larger buffer? And finally, what is your time horizon? When do you need the money that you're saving for? Once you've considered these questions, you can use a savings calculator to help you determine what you should be saving. A savings calculator can help you figure out how much you need to save each month to reach your goals based on your income and expenses. There are many free calculators available online. I know what you're thinking. All of this sounds great, but how do you actually automate it so that you don't have to manually calculate everything each month? Well, I created a template to help you do just that. This template is an extension of the Zero-Based Budget Tracker I released earlier this year. It has everything you need to manage your finances in one place, including expense tracking, bill paying, and now savings optimization. When you download the template, you'll find yourself in the Home tab where you can see your income, expenses, and savings at a glance. From here, you can jump into the expense tracker to track your expenses or the bill payer to pay your bills. But to optimize your savings, you'll head over to the dedicated Savings tab. To use the template, start by inputting your income. In the first column, you'll list out your income sources. And in the second column, you'll enter how much you made for that income source. The template is designed to work with multiple income sources, so feel free to add or remove rows as needed. In the third column, you'll input your fixed expenses. These are your essential expenses that don't fluctuate much, such as rent or mortgage payments, utility bills, and subscriptions. In the fourth column, you'll list your variable expenses. These are your non-essential expenses that can fluctuate month to month, such as dining out, shopping, or entertainment. In the fifth column, you'll type in your savings amount. This is the amount you want to save based on your calculations from earlier. Remember to include any extra money from your high-income months in your savings. In the sixth column, you'll type in your total expenses. This is the sum of all your fixed and variable expenses plus your savings. If your total income matches your total expenses, then you're all set. No need to make any adjustments. However, if your total income is higher than your total expenses, then you have extra money left over. In this case, you have two options. 1. You can increase your savings to whatever amount you want. Or 2. You can decrease your expenses by moving numbers from the total expenses row to the savings row. To do this, simply highlight the cells you want to move, press Ctrl-C to copy, and Ctrl-V to paste the values to the savings row. Once you've done that, change the signs in front of the expenses to a minus sign. If your total expenses are higher than your total income, then you're spending more than you're making and you'll need to make some adjustments. You can either decrease your expenses by moving numbers from the savings row to the expense rows, or increase your income by adding more income sources. To do this, simply highlight the cells you want to move, press Ctrl-C to copy, and Ctrl-V to paste the values to the expense rows. Change the signs in front of the savings to a minus sign. If you want access to the template, please join my email list. The link is in the description below. And once you've signed up, I'll send you the link to download the template along with other budgeting resources. Alright, guys, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel for more content. And don't forget to follow me on social media. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.